In this video, let us discuss about continual service improvement. This module provides guidance on creating and maintaining value for customers through better strategy, design, transition, and operation of services. It combines principles, practices, and methods from quality management, change management, and capability improvement. Continual service improvement describes best practice for achieving incremental and large-scale improvements in service quality, operational efficiency, and business continuity, as well as for ensuring that the service portfolio continues to be aligned to business needs. Guidance is provided for linking improvement efforts and outcomes with service strategy, design, transition, and operation of services. It combines principles, practices, and methods from quality management, change management, and capability improvement. Continual service improvement describes best practice for achieving incremental and large-scale improvements in service quality, operational efficiency, and business continuity, as well as for ensuring that the service portfolio continues to be aligned to business needs. Guidance is provided for linking improvement efforts and outcomes with service strategy, design, transition, and operation. A closed-loop feedback system based on the Plan, Do, Check, Act (PDCA) cycle is established. Feedback from any stage of the service lifecycle can be used to identify improvement opportunities for any other stage of the lifecycle. Continual Service Improvement, Section Overview and Objectives. In this section, we're going to briefly look at the fifth lifecycle phase of ITIL, which is CSI, Continual Service Improvement. By the end of this session, you'll be able to describe Deming's PDCA cycle, describe CSI approach, understand the 7-step improvement process, measure CSI, define enterprise governance, explain continual service improvement, CSI, and the service lifecycle, classify different types of metrics in CSI, identify performance baselines, define CSI register. Other topics in continual service improvement include service measurement, demonstrating value with metrics, developing baselines, and maturity assessments. Deming's PDCA cycle. For quality improvement, W. Edwards Deming proposed the Deming cycle or circle. PDCA cycle is critical at 2 points in continual service improvement, CSI, implementation of CSI. For the application of CSI to services and service management processes, all 4 stages of the PDCA cycle are used at implementation. With ongoing improvement, CSI draws check and act stages to monitor, measure, review, and implement initiatives. After following these 4 stages, a phase of consolidation prevents the circle from rolling back down the hill, as shown in the figure. Our goal in using the Deming cycle, or PDCA cycle, is steady, ongoing improvement. It is a fundamental tenet of continual service improvement, CSI. PDCA should be repeated multiple times to implement continual service improvement, CSI. Handling of cultural change is required to implement CSI for improvement. It should be noted that the PDCA cycle is a fundamental part of many quality standards, including ISO IEC 20000. Continual Service Improvement CSI approach. Service improvement must focus on increasing the efficiency, maximizing the effectiveness, and optimizing the cost of services, as well as the underlying IT service management (ITSM) processes. The only way to do this is to ensure that improvement opportunities are identified throughout the entire service lifecycle. Let us look at the 6 steps of CSI approach to improve the performance of our services and process. What is the vision? We should understand what is the vision of the organization. Vision should be aligned to IT and business strategies of the organization. Where are we now? Analyze the current situation in terms of the business, organization, people, process, and technology. This will give us the baseline assessment, and we will get to know where are we now? Where do we want to be? We should understand the business needs and requirements, as that will help us in moving toward the direction of where we want to be. How do we get there? What are the improvement steps we need to take to get there? Improvement can be of short, medium, and long term. All these initiatives need to be logged in the CSI register. Did we get there? We should monitor, report, and review the service level achieved and the actual performance against targets identified in the business requirement. How do we keep the momentum going? We should keep the momentum going by again following all of the above 5 steps and following the CSI approach. There is a common belief that CSI activities cannot improve a service that doesn't yet exist, and that the service has to be operational to identify improvement opportunities. However, CSI can add value in designing a new service by bringing the knowledge and experience from improving existing services. CSI can proactively prevent the potential flaws in the new service. CSI activities can be executed within service strategy, service design, service transition, and service operation. The 7-step improvement process. It is obvious that all of the activities of the improvement process must assist CSI in some way. It is relatively simple to identify what takes place, but more difficult to understand exactly how this will happen. The improvement process spans not only the management organisation, but the entire service lifecycle. This is a cornerstone of CSI, the main steps of which are below. Identify the strategy for improvement. Identify the overall vision, business need, strategy, as well as the tactical and operational goals. Define what you will measure. Service strategy and service design need to identify this information early in the lifecycle phase. CSI can then start its cycle again at where are we now and where do we want to be. This identifies the ideal situation for both IT and business. CSI can identify opportunities for improvement by doing gap analysis as well as answering the question, how do we get there? Gather the data. To analyse did we get there, data needs to be gathered generally, done at service operation phase. At this point, data is raw and nothing can be concluded from this. Process the data. The simple goal of this step is to process data from multiple disparate sources to give it context that can be compared. Once we've rationalised the data, we can begin with analysis. Analyse the information and data. As we bring the data more and more into context, it evolves from raw data into information with which we can start to answer questions related to who, what, when, where, and how, as well as answering questions of trends and impact on the business. It is the analysing step that is most often overlooked or forgotten in the rush to present data to management. Present and use the information. Here, the answer to "did we get there" is formatted and communicated in whatever way necessary to present an accurate picture of the results of the improvement efforts to the various stakeholders. Knowledge is presented to the business in a form and manner that reflects their needs and assists them in determining the next steps. Implement improvement. The knowledge gained is used to optimise, improve and correct services and processes. Issues have been identified and now solutions are implemented. Wisdom is applied to the knowledge. The improvements that need to be taken to improve the services or process are communicated and explained to the organisation. Following this step, the organisation establishes a new baseline and the cycle begins anew. While these 7 steps appear to form a circular set of activities, in fact, they constitute a knowledge spiral. In practice, knowledge gathered and wisdom derived from the knowledge at one level of the organisation becomes data input to the next. People often believe data, information, knowledge and wisdom to be synonymous or at least broadly similar in meaning. This view is incorrect. There is a significant difference between each of those 4 items. Why do we measure? There are 4 reasons to measure and monitor. To validate. Monitoring and measuring needs to be done to validate previous decisions made. To direct. Monitoring and measuring is essential to set the direction for activities in order to meet and set new targets. To justify. Monitoring and measurement is required to justify the factual evidence or proof that a course of action is required. To intervene. Monitoring and measuring is essential to identify a point of intervention, including subsequent changes and corrective actions. The 4 basic reasons to monitor and measure lead to 3 key questions. Why are we monitoring and measuring? When do we stop? And is anyone using the data? To answer these questions, it is important to identify which of the above reasons is driving the measurement effort. Too often we continue to measure long after the need has passed. Every time you produce a report, you should ask, Do we still need this?